Hello everybody, this is part 2 in-text citations. This is from OWL. You probably watched part 1, which was the essay format of MLA, the overview, and then part 3 is going to talk about works cited. So in the in-text citations, an in-text citation is a brief reference. Where did you get the information from? It lets the readers know. So it directs the readers to the works cited list, which I'll show you a little bit later. It'll make more sense if you actually see a picture of it, but if it were Angelou page 394, then your works cited should say Angelou Maya. This way they can go from the in-text citation, go directly to the works cited page to see more information. Oh, Angelou 264, well, who's Angelou? If they go from the in-text citation to the works cited page, they'll say, oh, it's Maya Angelou, and this actually came from I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Good? Here it should be unobtrusive. It should flow really well. That's where ICE comes on. The acronym ICE comes in. ICE. I for introduce, C for cite, E for to explain. You need to explain the in-text citations in your own words. And basically the in-text citation will usually have the author's last name and the page number. However, if there are no page numbers, I require author's last name and paragraph number, PAR period. We'll go over more when you have a picture of it in front of you because I think it will make more sense. Here, let's look at an in-text citation. I'll look at this in a minute, but let's take a look here. Humans have been described by Kenneth Burke as symbol-using animals. Kenneth Burke is the author. If we look up here, it says Burke Kenneth. This entry would be in the works cited page. This would not be in the in-text citation. So down here we know it's Kenneth Burke. He said symbol-using animals. And it comes from page 3 of his book, Language is Symbolic Action. So in the first example here, Kenneth Burke, his name is there, so we don't need to put the last name in the in-text citation in the parenthetical citation. They call this a parenthetical citation because it has parentheses. And notice that the period is at the end, it is not at the end of the quote. Let's take a look at the second example. Humans, blah, blah, blah. This time we did not give his name. So instead we're going to put Burke in here. So we know that he's the author, Burke, in the in-text citation, page 3. If you're reading the essay and you see Burke, you can go to the last page and notice that Burke, oh, it's Kenneth Burke and it came from this book. So let me repeat. Burke is given in the introduction, then the citation, and then the quote, and then the citation. So you don't need to say Burke and then Burke again. It's redundant. Notice the period is after the citation. You're letting your reader know that the citation is over and you're going to start a new sentence. Here, in the beginning of the sentence, we did not mention the author's name. Therefore, his name is here, Burke, page 3. Notice that there's no P period, there's no page. It's just the number 3. In the last slide, we knew there was an author. His name was Kenneth Burke. But at times you will come across websites or other articles that have no author. If that's the case, use, instead of the author Burke here, put in quotes the title of the article where it's coming from. Now, if the article is really long, like say it's Impact of Global Warming on blah, 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 stop. Only use the first few words of the title. So again, if there's no author, use the beginning of the article title, and then again, we know this is page 6, and then the period comes at the end. If you are following along with the PowerPoint, I am skipping some slides because I'm really only want to concentrate on the basics, the things that you will use most often. So the next here is, what if you have multiple authors? So let's say it was Burke and Howell. You would list both names. Burke and Howell argue that tougher gun control. If you have 3 or more authors, then you would use the first person's name, Smith, and then et al. That lets the reader know that, oh, there must be 3 or more authors. And then again, they could look in the works cited page and they could see Smith, and then all of the other names would be listed in the works cited page, not within the in-text citation. Here, we started with Smith et al. Argues. That's why we didn't put Smith here in the in-text or the parenthetical citation. Notice in number 2, the author states. This time we're not saying Smith, so we'll put it here within the parenthetical citation, the in-text citation. And then here, this one here has two authors, Strong and Ellis, Burke and Howell. So if it's two authors, use and list both, and then the page number. Again, if it's three or more, you're going to use et al. Very good. Let's continue. Sometimes students want to cite the Bible. So this is how you would cite the Bible. The version of the Bible you're using, put in italics. New Jerusalem Bible. Most people use the King James version of the Bible. You'd put that there. Abbreviate the title of the chapter where it came from. So this would be Ezekiel 1, chapter 1, verses 5 through 10. So that's how you would do the Bible. And again, if you want more information on this, go to the OWL Purdue website. All right, let's continue. If you come across an article or a website where there are no page numbers, regular MLA requires that you don't put anything. For instance, Carl Thompson, this is the person's last name. It's Rosemary's last name. So Carland Thompson. However, for me, if there's no page number, you have to include Carla Thompson space PAR period for paragraph, and then the paragraph number. So it would be, excuse me one second here. So again, if there's no page number per MLA, you normally write nothing. However, for my class, I'm going to require that you use PAR. So let's say Carlin Thompson, you found this in paragraph 3. Or let's say that you quoted or you're summarizing or you're paraphrasing over a couple different paragraphs. Then you would write Carla Thompson space PARS period, plural of paragraphs, and then 3 through 4 or 3 through 7 parenthesis period. So again, if there's no page number, you have to include a paragraph number for me. If you don't, I will deduct points. The last point here is use block quotations for 4 or more lines of poetry, or use block quotations for 4 or more lines of anything. However, I hope you don't use block quotations because they're long. They are usable, but I wish you would use your own words and maybe cut down the length of the quote. If you're going to use a block quotation, refer to OWL Purdue block quotations and it will show you. It's basically where you indent the quote and then you only single space. It's a little different because it's so long. Rather than putting it in 4 double-spaced regular text, paragraph text, they want you to block it off in a certain area. Again, I really don't want you to use that. However, if you do, refer to the OWL Purdue. Thank you. That ends this slide. The next slide will be coming up, and that'll be about the works cited page.